Hello, my friends, and welcome back. The subject for today's video is the developments in Mariupol, Azovstal steel plant, where, as you know, the Ukrainian fighters are surrounded by the Russian military, and some civilians are still trapped over there. I don't think they're trapped, but if they're trapped, I don't think they're trapped because of the Russians. I don't have that impression, and I tell you why, is because they could leave. The United Nations was over there. I think they don't want to leave, or they're not allowed to leave. I don't think the Russians don't allow civilians to leave. I think the civilians either don't want to, or the guys with them don't allow them to. I don't have the Russians don't, because it already happened. Civilians were free to go. The thing is, with this article for today, that I'm about to read and discuss, I noticed a new verbiage, a new way of describing certain terms that I haven't seen since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, and that is how the certain entities are described as. And I think this is a new trend. I'm going to pay attention to how certain things are described, and I'm talking about the Azov battalion. So this is an article from NBC News from May 6th, 2022, and it's titled "Bloody Battles Rage Inside Azovstal Steel Plant, Last Mariupol Holdout." So it says here that heavy fighting have been raging inside Azovstal steel plant, where Mariupol's last defenders have been holding out for weeks. Now is interest terms used. The Azov regiment, and I add battalion because I want it to make sure that the battalion. And they say an experienced volunteer force with neo-Nazi roots. That term's coming from NBC News right now when is the spat between the Russians, Israelis, and everybody else about who's Nazi, what's Nazi, nobody's Nazi, everybody's Nazi. It's very interesting. It's the first time when I see a mainstream um, corporate media talking about Azov battalion as experienced volunteer force with neo-Nazi roots. That means experience. They fought before, volunteer from the population, with neo-Nazi roots. So they had these ideas. They were followers of these ideas. And even though Zelensky said they're gone, they're done, and we have to point out that Azov battalion is now incorporated in the National Guard of Ukraine, which is obviously the part of the Ukrainian military. So the Azov regiment, an experienced volunteer force with neo-Nazi roots, said in a post on its Telegram channel Thursday that Russian infantry supported by aircraft and artillery had launched an attack on the sprawling site. So Russian infantry supported by aircraft and artillery. Civilians and wounded soldiers still remain in the basement of the plant, the post said. Why don't you go out? Why don't you? Then I would zip it. You have your choice. What do you want me to do? Nobody grabbed you over there. You could have left way earlier than now. Well, whatever. It says here, gaining full control of Mariupol, the key port city, would be a significant victory for the Kremlin. Well, look from the satellite and look at Mariupol, and you find Azov plant over there, and see if this Azov plant some say it's like 3 miles per 3 miles, some say no, it's 10 miles per 10 miles, some say it's 1 mile per 1 mile factory. Doesn't matter. Look at its location in Mariupol and see if that impedes in any way the port or blocks the city or something. That could be just secures the perimeter, and nobody comes in, nobody gets out. They stay over there. And what they're gonna have? Artillery. That's all they have. That means automatic weapons. That's all they have. Maybe some grenade launchers. So I don't think that would. Oh my God, we have those guys over there trapped. We can't reconstruct the city. They will be starving. They will, don't keep them surrounded, and they will be starving. Oh, are you afraid someone is going to try to get them out? I don't think so. I will put a few rocket launchers around, and who comes closer, I will just them up, among other things. But just saying, so you don't need a big force to keep those guys surrounded over there. I don't think so. But nevertheless, they say it's an important, Well, it says here that while stepping up their support for Kiev, Ukraine's allies are also focused on how to punish Moscow and hinder its war effort. European Union countries will continue to discuss the bloc's proposal ban on Russian oil, a key source of funds for the Kremlin, but also of energy for the continent. Well, as I said, you shot yourself in the foot when you did all this um, sanctions. You started the sanctions. This is, I don't want to say a proxy war because it's more than a proxy war between NATO and Russia, and it's not going to end well. I don't think. I mean, what are Russia's options? To say we lost? That's never going to happen. And do you think they're going to use a spin on this? It would be too obvious. Russia will not get out until it accomplished at least, I don't know, the 4 points that they started, but I don't know if they're going to be able. I don't know how this is going to end. I really don't foresee. I'm sure Russia will not say, hey, we lost. Hey, we want peace, and it's not going to happen. That's the pride of Russia. How do you think Russia will look at this in the future? I mean, they pride themselves that, from what I heard from the um, Russians and their leaders, that, they had Russia was kneeled 2 times in its history. That's why they say Russia 2 times, and one time this is what President Putin states. So this is obviously the the official statement of what Russia. So Russia always won, but only 2 times it was kneeled, and one time it was in the Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution, so-called, sorry, the Bolshevik Revolution, with all those mostly non-Russians being the leaders of it and part of it. It's unbelievable that we're still going with that. Um, Look at the first, I don't have to even go for there. That's a different conversation. But that's in the Bolshevik Revolution, and then the 1991 dissolution of, disappearance of Soviet Union. That's what Putin calls the 2 defeats of the Russian people. Everything else they won all the time. So, how do you think this is going to look? The third one? I don't think they're very eager to say that that's going to be the third one. So, the Azov battalion would be either eliminated, going to be starved to death, they're going to surrender, or they're going to shoot themselves in the catacombs. No, they're not going to be saved by Amnesty International, Red Cross, and Jesus Christ. And nobody was going to come and pick them up in the middle of the night, like, I don't know, a king in the middle of the night going to save them. That's not going to happen. But we'll see. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.